Hello, welcome back to another video. Please excuse the mess in the background. I wanted to use natural light today and it's just, yeah, there's always something going on back there. And I'm trying to be really chill about my videos and stop like overthinking them, because then I just like don't make them. But that is potentially a topic for another time. Today's video is going to be a TBR video. We are doing July's TBR, and if I do say so myself, I play a really fun TBR game. And I've been thinking about trying to film it and put it on my channel, but I'm like, oh, but I'm not like a booktuber. And I've tried to be a booktuber in the past. And when I say tried, not really. But I kind of realized it wasn't really something that I wanted to do, because I think as someone who's going to be publishing my own books, it feels a little weird to be in the reviewing space. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I know there's some people who do it really well. I know people like Taylor and Natalie are doing book content here and there, and I think that's really cool, and I actually really like that. And I think that from what I've seen, they both do a really good job of like not being like overly critical of a book, and when they are saying like something that they didn't quite like about a book, the way they do it is really great. And so I'm not saying you can't do that. I think you absolutely can. It's just something that I keep thinking about. I'm like, I don't know. Ultimately though, the biggest thing is that I don't want to monetize my reading. I want my reading to just stay for me. And not that this channel is monetized, but I feel like if I start making content about it, I'm gonna be like, oh, I have to like read a bunch and I have to keep creating content, but nah, I don't. So this is just gonna be something I do every month. If maybe sometimes I forget to do it or I skip months, it's like not a big deal. It's just for fun, and it's just, you know, I'm kind of just imagining, honestly, like I'm just kind of imagining mostly like the people that are watching this are like my fellow writing friends from the Discord that I'm in, and you know, I'm like, it'll just be a fun time. It's nothing too serious, and it's just gonna be for fun. So I'm really excited to share the game with you. I'm gonna walk you through how it works. There's a lot to it, I feel like, but also it's not really as complicated as I will probably make it sound. So once we get into it, you'll see how it all works. And before we get into the rules and everything, I do want to mention that this game is very, very, very much inspired by Emily from McKinnis Mama. She's a booktuber. If you enjoy book content, definitely go check out her channel. I will leave it linked down below. But she plays a TBR game. It's called Roll the Dice with a Dash of Chaos, and it is so much fun to watch. I look forward to her TBR videos like every month, and it's just so much fun to see like what she's gonna pick and how her game is gonna go, because sometimes it is indeed chaotic. So it's a lot of fun. She reads a wide variety of genres. She reads, you know, fantasy romance, fantasy, contemporary romance, dark romance. She reads thrillers, mysteries. I feel like she's occasionally will throw in like a lit fic book and things like that. So I feel like she's, you know, she reads quite a bit of books. So if any of those genres kind of are ones that you enjoy, I would definitely recommend checking her out. I've always wanted to do a game like this, but like my physical TBR, it definitely has been getting bigger, unfortunately, but it hasn't always been super big. I tend to read a lot of ebooks. I tend to get books from the library, you know, stuff like that. So I don't end up, I've been buying more recently, but I wanted a way where I could play this game and have some of my physical TBR included in it, but also have a almost even more of a opportunity to pull ebooks. And so I wanted to kind of create a similar game that would allow me to get through not only my physical TBR but also my ebooks. And I have, you know, I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, I have a Kobo Plus subscription, so I'm trying to, you know, make sure I'm balancing these books, and I've been wanting to read more. And so I think in April was the first time that I did this game, and I don't have a name for it. If you can come up with a fun name for this game, let me know. I don't have a name for it though. So I pick 8 physical books from my bookshelves that I, books that I have not read or books I want to reread. Can always throw in a reread, which I did do, and I did select one of my rereads for the month. But I have 8 physical books, and then I pick 8 physical books, I line them up, and then I have a TBR jar, and I put that jar, prompts in it, and I put that jar in, randomly select a position to put that jar into that lineup, and then I also put my Kobo and my Kindle into that lineup, and if I land on my Kobo or my Kindle, I can pick whatever book from that's like on the device. I can pick that to read, and then to make it extra, I've made 2 board games. So I will pop them on the screen. I have a Kindle one and a Kobo one, and you'll notice on both of them there is a jar in the middle. And if I land on that, then I get to pick a prompt. So anytime I land on the jar, whether it's the actual jar or on one of the boards, I get to pick a prompt and then pick a book that goes with that prompt. Otherwise, I am landing on, consider them like spaces on a board game. I'm landing on books, and so I have the books selected that are from Kobo Plus, and I have the books selected that are from Kindle, and occasionally there'll be like a library book thrown in here, or I might have bought a book, an ebook, and it'll be, I'll put it on there depending on what I want to read. So I'm just selecting basically 8 books for Kobo ebooks, 8 Kindle ebooks, and then 8 physical books. Having the Kindle and the Kobo in the physical book lineup gives me extra opportunities to pull ebooks, just because I have more of those to read on my TBR than I do on that I have physical copies of. So depending on the month, I've had some months where I've pulled way more physical copies. I've had some months where it's all been ebooks. So that is how the game is played. Now we're gonna go actually play it, and hopefully if what I said didn't make sense, it will now. So we're gonna start the game. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to place this prompt jar in this lineup of physical books that we potentially could pull from. So to do that, I'm going to randomize a number between 1 and 8, because there's 8 books here. So let's see where the TBR jar goes. Okay, so it's gonna go in spot 3. So 1, 2, and then 3. I'm gonna go from 1 to 9, and we're gonna place my Kindle. Okay, 6. So it's gonna go in here. Place my Kobo. So this is gonna do from 1 to 10. So we're gonna place this. Okay, 3. That's interesting. So now I'm gonna be changing this to randomize a number between 1 and 29, because we've got 11 spots here, plus the 9 on my Kindle board and 9 on my Kobo board. So we will do that. But first, because sometimes I never land on the TBR jar and I want to make sure I do at least one prompt, I am going to pull a prompt. So let's see what we get today. When I pull a prompt, I usually take it out and leave it out, and I will, after this gets low, I'll throw some of them back in, but haven't gotten to that place yet. Okay, so the one okay, this says, I can't get it to focus, but it does say book with a purple cover. So as you can see, we do have 2 options right here. This is more blue, but you can tell what are those called? Sorry if you can hear my stomach growling. The edges of this are purple, so I feel like that could work, but we also have this one, but this is is this just the spine? But it's still purpley. I'm also gonna look at my game boards. Ooh, so I'll throw up the game boards. My Kobo game board does have Promise of Darkness by Beck McMaster. There's a lot of purple on there. And there's also Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. And I've been really wanting to read a book by T. Kingfisher because I hear great things, but I don't really know. Like, I've never read any of their books, so I don't know. I just keep hearing good things about them, so I want to try it out, but I do feel like I need to go with Promise of Darkness because, I mean, that is, like, I feel like that has the most purple of all of the covers in this lineup. So I'm gonna go with Promise of Darkness. That's our first pick. I literally have no clue what this book is about. I don't remember. Now we get to randomize. I am going to, because I picked a book off of my board, I am going to lower this to 28 because we're now missing a spot. So I'm just going to keep doing that each turn. I'm going to lower it by one if I end up picking a book from my lineup. Okay, so we're going to pull, I'm going to go for 5 or 6 books. We'll see how I'm feeling. Okay, 27. So we have 11 here. 27 is Blood and Steel by Helen Scher. I think is how you say her last name. I am so sorry if I got that wrong, but Blood and Steel. I have tried to read this book before and I couldn't quite get into it because I believe it is formatted for to like a UK audience, so they use like the single quotation marks, and it was really difficult for my eyes to like adjust to the dialogue, but I'm gonna try and push through and just force myself to get over that. But it was weird. I've never read a book like that before because, you know, I am in the States, so I'm used to the double quotation marks for like dialogue, and I didn't even realize, like, it's stupid of me to assume that, but like I didn't even realize that that was a thing that was different. Okay, so now we're gonna choose the next number here. 4. Oh my god, oh, I feel like this never happens. I'm actually gonna pull 2 prompts. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 for another prompt. I want this one. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, this is funny. Okay, a book with an ugly cover. Again, no idea if this is focusing, if you can even read that, but a book with an ugly cover. This one's definitely not ugly, I know that, but I mean, I don't love these covers, to be completely honest. I'm not saying it's ugly, I just personally don't like the cartoony, like, romance covers that a lot of oh yeah, like, okay, I'm not trying to be judgy or anything, but like I hate this, to be completely honest. Like, it makes me mad. Like, why are they cartoons? It doesn't make me mad. I don't know why I said that. I actually don't really care, but I personally, I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm just saying I don't like this style of cover. I think we're going with Emily Henry, Happy Place. I do like the Ali Hazelwood cover better than this one. Again, I'm not trying to say they're ugly. I think obviously the people that worked on these are incredibly talented, but just in terms of like what I personally like in a cover, I don't like these. And I want to read this because it's like summery, so I want to read this month. Oh, our first physical book. So onto our 4th book. Let's see what we pull. Sometimes I feel like this app can be buggy because we just pulled 4 and we're pulling it again. But you know what? Sometimes that happens. So I guess we're pulling another prompt. So that's insane. This like never ever happens. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay. Oh, this is book in a series. We have a lot of options here. I believe I could pull Heavenly Bodies. I'm pretty sure this is book 1 in a series. I'm not sure about this book. I guess I could, like, does it say? This is new. It doesn't say, so I'm not sure. I could pull this, Villains Are Destined to Die. This is volume 1. I could pull that, so that's an option. I could pull this, The Knight and the Moth. That is book 1 in a series. There is another book on my Kobo board, Merely Mortal, that is also in a series, and I was supposed to read it this month, but I don't think I'm gonna get to it. I think the T. Kingfisher book is also in a series. There's so many options, and like this is the whole point, is that I get like, I'm indecisive, and this is why I like playing this game, so I don't have to make decisions. Oh, there's also on my Kindle board, I put A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. I have read this already, so this would be a reread, but I do want to reread it because the third book came out, I think it's a few months ago, and I've been dying to read it, but I'm like, I want to reread the first 2 books and then read the final. So I'm kind of tempted to pick that one just because I've been in a reading slump lately, and I think a reread would be really nice, and then that would give me, I could get like started on that series again. So I'm like tempted to do that, but I'm also very tempted for some of these other books. Oh, I don't know what to do. In interest of not taking forever, I think I'm gonna go with A Kiss of Iron, just because I do really want to reread it. And she's an indie author that I really look up to, I feel, because I think she's done an incredible job with this series, and yeah, I'm gonna reread it. Okay, I'm gonna reread it. Okay, we've got 4 books pulled, so let's do our 5th one. We have 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 11 puts us at the Kobo board with the Timeborn book. And this is by Sarah Samuels, so we're gonna put that on. This has been on my TBR for, like, it's been on this board specifically since I started doing this game, so this will be good to finally get it off. I, again, don't know much about it, but excited for it nonetheless. So we're at 5. Let's go ahead and pull, I want to do 2 more. I'm just feeling like I want to do 2 more. I want 7 in total, I think. Okay. Oh, I forgot to lower it by 1, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, 17. So this was 10, I believe, right? 1, 16, 17. We're going to do the T. Kingfisher book, The Paladin's Grace. Again, I don't know really anything about this book, but I've just heard really great things about this author, so I'm excited to see how I like it. And let's see, so that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to pull 1 more. Oh, so exciting. 19. Okay. A Curse of Malice and Mercy by Miranda Joy. So again, I don't know anything about this book. I did, like, obviously at one point, like, read the blurb and was like, ooh, I want to read this, but I don't remember now. It's definitely giving like very romantic-y vibes with the title and everything, so those are my books. I'm going to meet you back for a little chat and we'll kind of go through the books real quick. All right, so we just played the game. Hope that was fun for you all to watch. I had a good time picking the books. So it has been a little bit, I think I said this because I filmed the actual, like, me actually picking the books earlier today. It's now a little bit later, and I don't fully remember like the order. I mean, I do have the order because I wrote them down in order, but I don't fully remember each thing, so I'll try to remember like which prompt goes to which. But I think the first time I always pull a prompt in this game, like I think I mentioned, I usually only get to pull 1 prompt. Usually the rest are just me randomly like picking the book. So the first prompt was a book with a purple cover. I don't think you guys can read that. That's okay. And I pulled Promise of Darkness by Beck McMaster, I believe. And this is a book that I found on Kobo Plus, and I think it is a romantasy book. I don't really know much else about it, so I kind of like to go in blind with my books. But I am gonna look this one up on Goodreads. The cover is gorgeous. Oh, this is interesting. It's a different cover. This is a different cover than the one that I have on Kobo Plus, so that's cool. Looks like there's fae in this book, and there's two different like courts, so kind of giving like steely, unseelie vibes. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for, but it's book one in a series. I'm excited to read it. No one on my Goodreads has like read it yet, but I have one friend who wants to read it. So that's book one, and that was for book with a purple cover, because the other cover, the one that I have on my board game, had a lot of purple on it. So, okay, and then the next one that we landed on, and this one was one that I just landed on, is Blood and Steel by Helen Scher. This is book one in the, what is this called? Let me look this one up as well. I think it's Legends of Thesmar series, and I did try to read this before and I ended up DNFing it, not because I didn't like the story, but I was just having a really hard time adjusting to the single quotation marks. So looks like a couple of my Goodreads friends have read it. My one friend gave it 3 stars, which is not promising. Other people on here gave it 4 stars that I'm seeing. So I've heard really good things about it though. So I'm excited. I'm just gonna force myself to just get over the quotation mark issue. And then the next one was, we also landed on the TBR prompt jar, and I pulled the, again, I don't think you're able to read this, but book with an ugly cover prompt. And again, like I said, I don't think that this is an ugly cover, so to speak, but I just don't like these types of covers, these like cartoon covers that they use for romance books. I wish they would not, personally. But I was really happy to pull this because I really did want a nice like beachy read for the month of July. I haven't read any Emily Henry. I also have Funny Story, but I haven't read it yet. Is this like a second chance romance? I'm not sure. I don't know what to expect for this book. I've never read any Emily Henry. I know I'm late to the party, but I'm excited to see how this goes. So, and this was our only physical book that I pulled for this month, for this next month. The next one I pulled was also a prompt, and it was a book in a series. And this is where I decided to throw in my reread. I wanted to reread A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager because I really loved Kiss of Iron and the second book in the series. I think it's A Touch of Poison. I really loved both these books. One of my top fantasy romantasy, there was a recent live stream where we were discussing like what is the difference between fantasy romance and romantasy. Then I also happened to see a TikTok about it yesterday. It was so funny, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna give up trying to like figure out the difference. But to me, like a fantasy romance is like fantasy first with romance, but then a romantasy is more like romance first with fantasy. I don't think it really matters though. But anyways, this is probably one of my favorite like fantasy romance series. And she's an indie author, and I think she has quite the backlist as well that I also want to check out. So I'm just very excited. The third book came out like not too long ago, and I haven't read it yet, and because I've been wanting to just reread all 3 together, so I'm going to be doing that. I think the next 3 books are just no prompts. They were just the ones that I landed on. So there's Timeborn by Sarah Samuels. Again, I don't know anything about this book. I saw it on it's on Kobo Plus, and I saw it, and I'm curious, but I don't know. It's the first book in the Blade of Shadows series. I don't know how many. It looks like there's at least 4 books, but the 4th one is not out yet. But then there's also maybe a like novella or something that's like in between the 3rd book and the 4th book. But this is cool. It looks like the main character might be from Seattle, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, I want to read this. I'm excited for it. We'll see we'll see what happens. Okay, the next book that I pulled is Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. Again, I don't know anything about this book. I know it's book 1 in a series. The series is The Saint of Steel. I'm looking at Goodreads. I think I want to say that this is this a YA? It doesn't have YA listed as one of the genres. It does say it's a fantasy romance and a romantasy. I was not under the impression that it was a romantasy, but that makes me more excited to read it. So we will see. I really do want to read this though, so very exciting. I didn't really read the synopsis, but I like to go in blind to things sometimes. And then the next book was A Curse of Malice and Mercy by Miranda Joy. It's a lot of M's, sorry. And it's book 1 in Courts of Malice. Has anybody, again, only one friend wants to read it. No one else that I know on Goodreads has read it. And this one was also on Kobo Plus. Also, Paladin's Grace was on Kobo Plus as well. Looks like there's fae princes in this. I'm kind of skimming. Again, I don't want to know too much, but it says it's a new adult romantic fantasy book intended for mature readers. The book contains language, themes, and content that may not be suitable for all readers. So I don't know if there's spice in this or darker themes. We shall see. Okay, it does look like there is spice in this because I'm seeing a book review that mentions some spice. So those are the books that I'm gonna be trying to read in July. I hope to read more. That's always the hope, is like, I'm like, I want to read like so many books, but we'll see realistically how many I can actually get through. I have no idea which one I'm starting with. If you want to read any of these with me this month, like you want to do a buddy read, hit me up, let me know. I know we've discussed doing a buddy read of this in the Discord, so if anybody wants to read with me. And then I think too, I know me and some friends are going to definitely be trying to read Problematic Summer Romance probably this month, which means I have to go to a bookstore and buy it because my library hold is not going to come up in for like another 6 weeks, it said. And so I just need to go buy it because my friends are about to read it, I feel, like soon. And so I might just have to buy it. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, if you couldn't tell, so we're gonna wrap up the video. So yeah, if you did make it this far, leave me a beach-themed emoji of some sort. Whatever that means to you. It could be a sun or I don't know, is there a beach ball emoji or something? I don't know, whatever. And also, if you have an idea for what I can name this TBR game, let me know. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing July. And if you're reading, let me know what you're planning on reading in July, or if you have any, I don't know, book recommendations, anything you want to see me put on my TBR game in the future, let me know. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!